Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to my video. I was looking online, I saw a lot of videos, comic blogs talking about comics that you should be putting in your collection, comics that are undervalued, speculator comics, or sleeper key issues. Do a lot of reading myself. Decided, I'm going to put out my own little video, try and help other people out collecting. So this video is 5 Silver Age comics that you should be putting in your collection right now. Seriously undervalued, a lot of these comics. Good chance they're going to go up in value for their own reasons. Yeah, so if you're a speculator and you're flipping comics, these are some good ones you want to pick up right now. They're still cheap. If you're a straight up collector and you want these for filling your back issues and your runs of your comic, you're going to have to get them now before they get a lot more expensive, right? Get them while they're still in your budget. Okay, so first comic I wanted to talk about, The Amazing Spider-Man number 33. Amazing Spider-Man number 33 is really Steve Ditko Spider-Man at his best. He wrote the plot line for this story. Stan Lee, I know, had a lot of help with him doing the dialogue, but he was the plot. Steve Ditko was the plot line, did the plot line. He also did all the art here, and the art in here is just fantastic. Just, in simple static shots, he can just show Spider-Man's desperation and Peter Parker's desperation inside there. Issue merely meant a lot to Steve Ditko in terms of the whole Spider-Man franchise and his involvement with it. And just, a beautiful issue. Like, look at this cover. This is such an iconic cover. Everybody's seen it. The whole story in here has kind of been, repeated in the last movie where Spider-Man's trapped under the heavy weight of the air conditioning unit on the roof there and, finally lifts himself off. Well, this is the issue where that scene comes from. Yeah, still find this copies of this. Higher grade ones, yeah, you're going to pay a lot for the higher grade ones. They're really on the move, but mid-grade, lower grades, still going to find this book easily under $100. More around the $50, $60 range, I would think, for mid-grade stuff. Totally undervalued. People are going to catch wind of this book and just see how an important book it is. And I noticed a lot more people are gravitating towards artists, and books that meant a lot to them seem to go up in value now. I've got another one of those on my list that we'll get to a little later. But for now, let's move on to the next comic. Here we have The Mighty Thor, number 168. The Mighty Thor, number 168, Origin of Galactus. Right, so Thor's on this planet, he's cruising along, all of a sudden there's Galactus, kind of summoned him to this area. Oh, what? And he's like, Galactus is like, nobody gets me, man. I want somebody to understand, I think you're it, Thor, and calls the busy mists that enshroud Thor, cause him to pass out and have this dream about the origin of Galactus. Galactus wakes him up a little later. Thor promises not to attack him. Galactus is like, all right, I guess you're worthy to know the whole story, and sends him back under the mist to continue the origin story. So only the very, very first part of Galactus' origin story starts in this book. Kind of a cliffhanger where it leads over into the next issue where they finished Galactus' origin story off. Also, first appearance of Thermal Man. Not a huge character, but still a character there that they fight. Yeah. So, Thor 168, 1969, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Which also brings us to the next issue. The Mighty Thor, number 169. Okay, so this one finishes off Galactus' origin story. Thor kind of gets it, kind of gets to the end of the story and realizes, this guy can't live, and tries to kill Thor. Of course, Galactus, does his thing, and there's really no fight and whatnot. Still, Galactus' origin story. The MCU guys, they've all announced that they want Phase 4 of the Marvel movies to be much more cosmic. With that in mind, there's nobody more cosmic than Galactus. You're looking at seeing him. If you want his first appearances, Fantastic Four 48, 49, and 50. Prices on those books are just going nuts lately. Well out of the reach to being an undervalued comic. However, this comic, for some reason people are still ignoring it. Origin stories, big and big. Number 2 on the list next to first appearances for sure. So pick this one up, because if any kind of announcement with Galactus is coming, Fantastic Four 48 is going to go through the roof. Everybody's going to start gravitating towards this book, the origin story. Okay. So next one on my list is about an artist, right? So here we have The House of Mystery, number 179. Now this comic book, you're like, why this comic book, right? This comic book is Bernie Wrightson's very first professional comic debut. Okay, so his very first professional work is in this comic book towards the end, right? Also, great Neil Adams cover from House of Mystery. Anything Neil Adams touch, turns to gold these days. So right there, you can add a few bucks on just for Neil Adams cover. But yeah, very first Bernie Wrightson professional work. Bernie Wrightson, such a huge influence on the whole horror genre. Really upset that he passed away in 2017. However, had such a big influence on the horror genre, on superheroes to somewhat, but so many other artists that, say that he was an inspiration to them and that they've copied his style and all kinds of stuff. I mean, Bernie Wrightson, just, again, one of the comic masters, and this is one of his professional works. Easily find this book, well under $100 for good quality copies of that. Yeah, pick this one up before the price of it, before everybody starts kind of getting to know about it and the price of it goes up. All right, last but not least, got one from just the beginning of the Silver Age, pretty old one. Definitely the most expensive book on this list, but still a book I think has potential to have quite a bit more growth in it. And that's the iconic Superboy 68. Superboy 68, first appearance of Bizarro. Story by Kurt Swan, or Stan Kane, drawings by Kurt Swan. Great iconic cover. Both those gentlemen involved with Detective Comics and Action Comics and Batman Comics for generations. Here we have the very first appearance of Bizarro. Bizarro, he may not be an A character like Lex Luthor, but definitely a B+ character, right? Very much reoccurring in all kinds of Superman books, and Lois Lane, and Superboy. You've seen him in the cartoons, you've seen merchandise and action figures and all kinds of stuff with Bizarro. Very poignant character, yet still find this book very undervalued. You can still go online, find copies of this thing in sort of a mid-grade, around $300, which might not be in everybody's budget, but DC first appearances, especially when you're close to that golden age era or beginning of the Silver Age, really they've just been taken off like crazy. First appearance of the Flash, worth so much money. First appearance of Green Lantern, worth so much money. You get some of the villains, first appearance of Brainiac, worth huge money. First appearance of Metallo, worth big money. All these superhero or super villains that are showing up, all of a sudden becoming worth lots of money. First appearance of Black Manta, right? He's going to be in the new movie, so of course his appearance jumped. Bizarro. Doubtful you're going to find Bizarro in a movie, but for who he is and the age of this comic and being a almost a golden age first appearance, very close. Yeah, this book I feel is still really undervalued. So, go out and pick one up if you can. Again, probably the most expensive comic in that whole pile that you're going to find. Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 33, easy under $100. The Mighty Thor 168, way under $100. Probably under $50 you're going to get a good copy of that one. 169, a little more money, a little more known with the Galactus origin story. You're going to pay somewhere $50-$60 for that one for a really, a half decent copy, a collectible grade. House of Mystery number 179, the first Bernie Wrightson, easy under $100 for a really nice copy. Lots of copies going for under $50 still. And then this guy, I know you'll flip onto eBay and you'll see people asking, $1,200 for this copy, but any comic is only worth as much as somebody will pay for it. So you can ask all the big prices you want. I could put this comic book up on eBay and ask $10 million for it. Chances are I'm not going to get it, right? Flip over into your on that little eBay thing that gives you all the options about how to look for bids. There's one in there called sold items. Click that switch and it'll show you all the recent ones that sold and what people are paying for it. When you take a look at that, you're going to see, yeah, lots of people are out to lunch when they're asking for those prices, but they're just waiting for the guy that comes along that has to have that comic. Anyway, easy find, lots of room for growth here. Try and find, as best a copy as you can. It's not a whole lot of great copies out there. It was a Superboy, not a hugely collectible. Most people ignored Superboy for a long time. Anyway, pick this one up. So that's it for my video. Happy hunting out there. You're looking on eBay. Don't get suckered in. But you can find all these comics for relatively cheap and add quite a bit of value to your collection in the next few years. Okay? Thank you. And we'll see you in the next video.